Well, they're both in negotiating mode right now. President Trump will be having a dinner meeting with President Xi Jinping in Buenos Aires in 10 days, and the objective is to come to a new trade agreement. President Trump, Vice President, are in negotiating mode, trying to strengthen the U.S. posture going into that, reminding the Chinese and everybody else that they've got trade barriers out against China now. They've threatened to do more. But I think they want a deal. I think both countries want a deal. I think President Trump wants a deal. I think there's a good prospect for a deal. And all this is rhetorical run-up to what I think and hope, certainly, will be an agreement in Buenos Aires that will bring at least a truce, if not a resolution to the trade war, at least for the time being.
Chris, there's been a lot of focus on the tensions between the U.S. and China at APEC this past weekend. But to me, the big takeaway was the fact that it was, at least according to one U.S. official, 20 countries against China when you talk about the verbiage that was looking to be used in the proposed text from this meeting. Does this put more pressure on China? Does this give the U.S. more leverage?
I think it does. I think the United States has been making a mistake in trying
Fred,
to...
Chris, to you.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Yeah. So, yes, of course. Look, the entire world needs to do something about China. Now, mind you, this administration's sort of center focus is the trade deficit with China, which, focusing on a bilateral trade deficit is really, it's kind of an incorrect way of looking at trade. But the broader picture, of course, is China has continuously violated the basic tenets of the WTO, which they joined over 20 years ago. And it's about time someone stood up to them and said enough is enough. The U.S., of course, needs to be the leading country in that coalition. We're the only one big enough to take them on. But the fact that other countries are coming on board shows that this is really a global problem. And, you know, candidly, while much of the Trump administration's trade policy, I think, has been largely off base, on this one, I'm in complete agreement.
Fred, I'll put the same question to you, since I know you had some thoughts on it.
Yeah, China does not want to be isolated internationally. It's very important to mobilize America's friends and allies in this battle against China's unfair trade practices. The Trump administration made a big mistake by launching trade wars against its own allies over the last couple of years. Fortunately, it has now resolved, or at least called a truce, in those other trade wars. So now it can mobilize most of the world in this trade conflict with China. The APEC meeting is very constructive in that respect. It shows that even China's Asian neighbors are willing to coalesce to try to get it to straighten up and fly right. It's very important to them. It's very important to the world economy. I think it adds to the prospect that we will get a constructive outcome at Buenos Aires in a couple of weeks, and hopefully put the trade war at least on hold, if not, and maybe better, on a path toward resolution.